people. I hope that all of you are doing well despite the whole COVID situation and the whole restrictions. But now, on the bright side of things, there's the VTL, and I guess we can travel if we want to, and if you're willing to spend that amount of money. I'm not, because I'm drowning in work anyway. But yeah, today I thought I'll share about why I think failure is good for you and in fact essential for your growth. And why I thought of this topic is because recently I did fail at something. I know people already talk about their failures openly or even share it with their friends for fear of embarrassment or just for fear that people will just label you as a failure or someone who just is unable to succeed at everything. I think the truth of the matter is that failure is essential for growing and also inevitable. Honestly, I think the concept of failure is very subjective. Sometimes to someone, something is failure, but that same thing could be success. So an example of that would be, for instance, to a student, 4 A's at the A-levels might be success, but to another student, 4 A's in the A-levels would be failure because their goal is to get 6 A's. So I guess when I say failure, I don't mean an objective standard of failure, but it's more of what you desired to achieve and what you failed to achieve. So my last video was about the whole attrition situation and how everything is becoming very disastrous because manpower is short and work is growing. When I felt that I was almost quite at my lowest, looking at the increasing amount of workload and the falling manpower, a headhunter actually approached me and asked me or encouraged me to apply for this position at a different firm. And this firm was going to pay much better. So this headhunter was super helpful. He helped me with my resume and also ran through the interview questions with me, essentially prepared me for the interview. And because I saw the effort that he put in, although I wasn't super sure that now is a good time to actually shift or to apply for a new job, after this season is a period of time where most people will actually wait for their bonus because bonus happens in December. And if you tender now, you so-called won't get a bonus that you worked hard for earn for the whole year from January to now. So this season is normally not the time to apply for jobs, and also because looking at the manpower shortage in my team, I also felt that just this whole concept of abandoning ship was not very kind. I was actually in doubt as to whether I should apply for a new job at this point in time, considering the entire context, and also I was so swamped. I didn't even have time to tidy up my resume. I didn't have time to think about interviews. Basically, I had no capacity anymore to look for new opportunities, and my main focus was to finish my work and get enough rest so that I can continue my work the next week. So when this headhunter approached me, I was a bit hesitant, and in fact he commented that I was very noir, in that what he meant was that I wasn't very super motivated or driven for better opportunities. I guess what I feel inside really is reflected based on the things I say and the way I carry myself. But after I saw the amount of effort that he was willing to put in to help me prepare my resume and prepare me for the interview, I felt that I should give him my best shot. I put in my application. I went for one round of interview. Just a few days ago, the headhunter told me that the firm actually interviewed someone with more experience in that particular field of law, and for that reason, they will not give me the next round of interview, even though they really liked my personality and also saw that I had potential. I don't know, surprisingly or unsurprisingly, I actually felt okay about the news because I felt that I had prayed earlier before I went for my interview and before I put in my application that God would show me which is the path that He wants me to take. I feel like I really accepted the fact that whenever the door doesn't open for me or whenever God closes the door on me, it is for my good and it is His perfect plan for me. In that maybe this is not the right time, this is not the right firm, this is not the right place, or basically just not the right season for you to be at this place, and there are things that He would want me to do at my current workplace. I think I was super at peace with the entire situation, and also just accepting that whether or not the interviewers find favor in me, like me, or don't like me, basically whether they think I'm a good candidate or not will really be in God's hands, and like God can soften a hardened heart and God can harden a soft heart. Basically, to me, all these things are not really in my control. All I have to do is go there, be myself, be authentic, and say what I truly feel and truly believe in. And if I don't vibe with them, then that's no longer on me because I have done my part in that I prepared for the interview. The outcome is no longer fully within my control once I have done my part. At least that was how I saw the whole situation. So when I got the news, I was just like, okay, I mean, yeah, it's a failure in some sense because you put in an application, you went through an interview and you didn't get it right. Yeah, but to me, it's a good failure. Like, failure is good. It's not always a bad thing. And failure is just generally good for many other reasons. First, I think failure keeps us humble. It's a very humbling process to know that there are some things in life, or in fact many things or all things in life that are not exactly within your control or not within your purview. I think to me it's humbling because it also realizes that it is not by my own strength that I can go and achieve anything. It's not like if I strive, if I mark all the interview questions, if I prepare word for word every single answer to any possible question that I might be asked, then I will get the job. Essentially, it's a recognition that my own effort can only bring me so far. And after that, God will bring me to the end goal. I think it's always a good reminder that we are not invincible and that we cannot achieve every single thing in this life. In fact, to me, failure is learning about our weaknesses and learning that we cannot be everything we want to be. I think failure helps to keep our pride in check because sometimes when we get too used to succeeding, we are so smooth with our applications. I feel that honestly that's exactly what happened to me, right? Like I did well, my results were good, I applied for things and I just get acceptance. Then I slowly start to learn to expect that everything I do will be smooth and everything I do will succeed and everything I apply for I will get. So I think it's a very good reminder that just because you're on a path to success or just because you have been on a path of success, it doesn't mean that there won't come a day when you will fail. And it also doesn't mean that this path will always be a path of success. And by failing, it really reminds me that, you know, you're just human and you are just average. Don't think or don't believe that you are cut above the rest, or that you are better than everyone else, or that you somehow deserve this path of success. I think it's also a test, because sometimes I always tell my friends, yeah, I trust God, I'm okay with whatever the outcome, and whatever will be lah. But when I actually fail, then I feel that I am really being tested. It's like, is what you say always true? When you said you trusted God, did you really trust God? How are you feeling now? I felt that, well, it was nice being tested also. To know that what I say is not only in my head, but also in my heart. So I think, yes, it was generally a very humbling process. Second reason why I think failure is good for you is also because I feel that failure can be God's answer to your prayers. As much as it sounds very abstract, but sometimes when you ask God, show me the way, give me a direction, and sometimes his answer is just by closing the doors right in front of you. And I do appreciate that, because sometimes I tell my friends, right, that I don't hear anything from God, he's not showing me any signs, he's not telling me, is this the way, is this not the way, or... So in some sense, it's like when you are at a junction and you have 5 different paths to take. Failure is like God telling you, okay, one of these 5 paths just doesn't work. Maybe you can consider the other 4 paths. Which brings some clarity and also calls into reflection as to why I thought in the first place that the path that was closed was a path that I was supposed to take. Were my intentions right? Was it aligned with God? Did I go into that alternative with a pure heart and with a heart of service instead of selfish ambition? So I think, yeah, God answers prayers through different ways, and I think one of the ways that he answers prayers is by closing the doors. Third reason why I feel that failure is important is because learning how to fail and being good at failing is a life skill. It's like the more you fail, the better you are at failing. And what do I mean by that? Not saying that the more you fail means you will keep failing forever. It's more like it's very important to learn how to deal with failure. So when I was a kid, I actually dealt with failure very badly because of the way I was brought up. I was always very harsh on myself. I would just go into this spiral of self-reproach and feel like, why didn't I do better? I could have done this, I could have done that. So that was one train of thought. Another train of thought was the need for control and the need to be perfect. Basically, I want to control the entire situation and be like, why wasn't I perfect? Why didn't I write this answer? I knew the answer. Why didn't I say this in my interview? Why didn't I do this or why didn't I do that? Essentially, it's all linked to the fact that I had to be in control and I failed to be in control. Basically, my self-worth was pegged to whether I succeeded or whether I avoided failing, which shouldn't be the case. Like recently, I was listening to this Chet and Tori podcast, and it was about how our identity is already given in Christ and nothing we do can add to it or take away from it. So this was a concept that I didn't understand as a kid, and I always felt that my value was pegged to whether I succeeded, and not even, sometimes it's not even succeeding for myself, it's whether I made my parents proud or whether I disappointed them. But after going through many life experiences and failing a lot along the way, I won't go into detail of how I failed. If you think that my life is perfect, I'll tell you that it's not. It's in fact far from perfect. I've made 1,000 mistakes, and very severe mistakes that I felt like I had to repent from and really go to God humbly and ask for forgiveness for all these mistakes that I've made. But overall, I would say that it's because I went through all these mistakes, and each time I had to come to God to deal with it, and each time I had to reflect. I had to ask myself, what is it that makes me so disappointed, and what is it that makes this whole failure so impactful to my life? And it's after all this reflection that I grow and learn how to deal with failure properly. I feel that I'm so much better at failing now. Like, I can get over things really quickly. In fact, this whole being rejected by the firm that I applied to, it didn't really even make me upset. I remember I just reading the news and I was just like, oh, okay. I think in the next 5 to 10 minutes, I was already like back to usual. The first 5-10 minutes was not even like, oh, I'm so upset. Why didn't I say this? Why didn't I say that? It was more like, oh, I'm receiving some unexpected news. So I was not quite prepared for it. But when I digested it, within the next 5 to 10 minutes, I was already like back to normal. I didn't feel upset or worried or disappointed or anything. I was just like, okay, you know, this is God telling me that here is not where I should be. It's through multiple failures that I really digest like this whole concept, the truth that God is in control, God is sovereign, that we are here to fulfill God's purpose and not our own, and that we are just not here to pursue our own selfish ambition, but to fulfill God's purpose for us, right? These principles were always in my mind, but I think it's through multiple rounds of failure that it slowly traveled from my mind to my heart. And for me, and I felt like God knew what it took for me to internalize this concept and to come to acceptance, to understand God's nature and to understand and trust that His plan for me is always the best, that He will move things in His own time and He will cause whatever He wants to happen. While what you do is only a part of it, what He does is more important than what you do. It took me a long time to internalize this, and once I finally come to acceptance of that, I feel much more at peace. I finally understand that I don't have to strive for anything. That's why God said that, you know, my yoke is easy and my burden is light, because it is true. Like when He wants something for you, you don't have to put in extra effort. You just need to do your part of it and He will settle the rest. Failure just allows you to be more sophisticated. And why do I say sophisticated? It's because I feel like you understand now a dimension of feelings and emotions that you wouldn't have understood if you hadn't failed. So just imagine someone who has been the perfect student, went to the perfect school, got everything they wanted in life, basically never felt disappointed. Then that's one level of emotions that they don't experience, right? They don't know what it feels like to be disappointed, to be discouraged, to feel like dejected, rejected. And all these things come with failure. It's not just one emotion, it's not just sad. is like a multitude of emotions, a mix of emotions. Sometimes it's like happy and sad at the same time. Sometimes it's resentful, sometimes it's bitterness. Basically, because of your failures, you have learned to experience all these emotions, and this experience is very useful because it is what helps us relate to other people better. It helps us know what to say, or how to comfort, or how to empathize with someone who has experienced some form of disappointment, whether it's big or small. I hope that my sharing encourages you to see failure in a different light and to also thank God for the failures and to appreciate and cherish these experiences. Even if you're going through something disappointing right now, I just hope that in time to come, you'll be able to see the benefits and the growth that you reap from this journey and this process. I can tell you, every successful person I've met struggled, failed, and rose above all these disappointments. Last reminder, don't allow failure to define your worth. Just hope that you always know, regardless of what you do, you're always worthy and you are not your success or failures. That's all. Bye.